So we have to revisit this Olympic boxing one more time. My first video I made was of another fight with a biological male fighting a biological female, and that female made it through the entire fight. But of course, her opponent won. Gee, I wonder why. Today's video is of the same subject, but this time the female opponent was hurt so badly by a punch, she had to stop the fight and bow out of it just 46 seconds in. And the Olympic Committee is okay with this. The liberals are celebrating this. They have absolutely no problem with biological men fighting biological women in a competitive boxing match. Let's look at the video and see how it went down. And here we are again. Olympic boxing. Fighter in red, biological man. Fighter in blue, biological woman. This is allowed because the Olympic Committee is woke and weak, and they're letting this happen. And you'll see the female fighter in blue is throwing some shots, and she's holding her own, but then she gets hit with a punch that makes her stop in her tracks, and she goes in her corner and ends the fight. She was in so much pain from getting hit like that she knew her safety was in danger. She knew she had to stop for her own well-being. So for a few seconds, she held her own. She threw a couple of punches, she got hit with a couple, and then she got hit with that punch in the face. She turned around and went to her corner, spoke to her trainer. The ref came over and stopped the bout. And she's Italian, so we couldn't understand what she was saying. But basically she said, "This is unfair. This is a man." She knew it, her trainer knew it, and the official knew it. And of course, the International Olympic Committee knew it. This girl stopped fighting because she was afraid for her own safety. She was trying not to risk serious injury by fighting a biological man. And again, all the woke liberals, the entire leftist nation are celebrating this and applauding this biological male for competing, for being so brave, for being themselves. Well, being themselves is going to get somebody seriously injured or worse. So we saw one female fighter bow out. What happens the next time if one gets knocked unconscious by a punch? How bad is that damage going to be? But again, the Olympic Committee's okay with it. And here's what one of the Olympic officials had to say about this type of fight.
Women in their passports, and it's stated that is the case, that they are female. They're competing in the women's category. Again, I don't want to mention their names or whatever, but these athletes have competed many times before for many years.
Right? They could care less. These people have fought before with no problems. They've had many fights and they've been successful. Of course they're successful. They're fighting against the opposite gender. What is it that makes people think that this is okay? That Italian fighter trained her entire young life to make it to the Olympic Games in female boxing, and she made it. That was her dream, to box in the Olympics. And what happens? Her dreams came crashing down because the Olympic Committee allowed a fighter who was of the opposite gender to get in the ring with her. So the Olympic Committee didn't care that the Italian fighter trained probably from when she could walk because she wanted to be a fighter. They didn't care. It's all about the competition. It's all about fairness. It's all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is the world we live in. They have no shame whatsoever allowing this. And I'm sure all the woke that like Leah Thomas in swimming and other transgenders in biking and running or whatever, they're applauding this. They don't have an issue with it. And quite frankly, they don't really care if the females get hurt. because their fighters are living their true self. Well, I might have said this in my first video about this disgusting display, but I'm going to say it again. These biological men who are in women's sports are in it for one reason, because they're not good enough, they're not strong enough, and they cannot ever beat someone of the same gender. That's why they switch over, because they know it'll be allowed, and all of a sudden they believe, look at me, I'm successful, I won this fight, I won this race. And people applaud it and celebrate it like it's an everyday occurrence, like it's been going on for 200 years and no one has a problem with it. Well, I'm here to tell you, someone is going to get worse than seriously injured. And I'm pretty sure you know what I mean. Someone is going to get knocked out in a boxing match by the opposite sex, and they're not going to wake up. And then what's going to happen? They'll still applaud it. They'll say, well, that fighter knew what she was getting into. That right there is like domestic violence, only they weren't a couple. Because we were brought up, and society always told us, a man hitting a woman is wrong. You should never, ever do it. But if we have a boxing match that's sanctioned by the Olympic Committee, and we have a female fighter and a trans female fighter, then it's okay. They're competing, they're at the same skill level, the same strength level, when we all know that's absolute nonsense. Wake up, America. You are putting young ladies in danger of serious bodily injury by letting someone bigger, stronger, and faster compete against them, especially in a boxing ring. These people are disgusting human beings, and anybody who applauds this and celebrates this need to rethink their own life and their own sanity, because it's my belief that they're as mentally ill as the fighter who thinks he's a female. And I'm sorry, that's just my opinion, but think about it, it's the truth. These people need to stop this nonsense before something seriously wrong happens.